Okay, welcome to another home blending of episode for the YTPC. I'm here mixing up what has come to be my favorite home blend, and it's the only one that I've had any special requests for. Granted, it was my dad, but as a hardcore smoker of Lane 1Q, this little English, well, sort of a light vapor Virginia burley kind of thing, uh, without any kind of case or topping. He really likes this, and I really like it too. The recipe for it's pretty simple. I've got 1 part of white burley, 1 part Cavendish, 2 parts light Virginia, and a 1/2 part perique. And on the burley, I use the Lane white burley. For the perique, I hope I got enough granulated. And then for the Cavendish, I use just about in all of my blends, I use a Green River Cavendish. I just find it a little bit less sweet and a little bit, it doesn't overpower. It has a nice, just basic sweet. It's not anything too crazy. But it definitely gives it a nice, good flavor. But it doesn't go over the top with the vanilla or anything like that. So I tend to use that one a lot more. Let's see. I'm measuring out here, and I'll go over some of the math that I use to break it up when I'm mixing up a big batch here, but I'm trying to get it all perfectly precise. But anyway, what I got onto this one is when I first started blending, one of the the first blends I ever came up with was what I call Southern Sunrise. And what it is 1 part burley, 1 part Cavendish, 1 part 2 part light Virginia. So 1 burley, 1 Cavendish, 2 light Virginia. And man, it is sweet without being overpowering. It reminded me of smelling like honeysuckle. And, you know, being in Mississippi, we're big deer hunters here. And there is nothing more awesome than the sunrise coming up out of a deer stand. And so I called it Southern Sunrise. I added a little bit of perique to it, and it just really set it off and added a nice touch to the blend. And so in honor of that, I called the perique edition Deer Stand, because it reminds me of being in a deer stand watching the sunrise. So that's what I've got in here, what I'm making, and I really like it. I've got 2 that I was really proud of. The other ones are good, but I just really like that those blends. So I'm gonna try to see if I can get this camera turned around for you, and it is not going to work. So what we're going to do is we just get in here, and I will say I washed my hands before I did this. But just get in there and mix it up. And what I found with Green River Cavendish is that you've got to kind of rub it out a little bit before you do anything with it, just to kind of get it even. But everything else is ribbon cut. So that makes it a lot easier to kind of keep consistent across the blends. And for deer stand, I found that it needs to sit for a couple of weeks, so before it really starts to meld together. So I'll put this in. Today's April 7th. 3 weeks at the early, 21, so 28. 1st of May. Good stuff. And like, as you know, with any of those Virginia-based blends, the longer the better. So I may actually keep it up, let it sit a little longer for that. So I'm actually filling my first order. And granted, it's my father, and he ain't paying me for it. But anyway, I wanted to mix this up and give y'all the recipe on my favorite one. I hope you enjoy it. Hope maybe if there's some good riffs on it that you want to do that. I'd love to hear some riffs on it and see what y'all think. And go from there. If you're interested, I might have enough. I ain't getting all this, but I might have enough. If you want to swap some blends or something like that, I'll be glad to send some along to you, and let me know what you think. So, got it nice and mixed up now. And that Cavendish really comes out in the 10 note, but like I said, with the Green River, it's not so overly sweet that it's overpowering. And it adds a nice complement on top of that Virginia. So you get sort of the grassy, you get some of that grassy light Virginia, but you've got some of the good Cavendish right beneath it. But that burley, you give it time, that burley and that perique just get in there. And what I like about this one, the perique kind of attaches to the burley and kind of spices up that that nutty flavor, and then the Cavendish and the Virginias tend to hang out and make it that sweet grass. So you've got a nutty, sweety, little peppery, but very smooth blend. So it's not too overly earthy. But I've got one that I call Muddy Water that's a real good earthy blend. So that's Deer Stand. I'm excited about it. Again, the recipe for it is 1 part burley, 1 part Cavendish, 2 parts light Virginia, and a half part perique. So what I do is I figure out how much I need to mix up. Like in this case, I'm doing 3 ounces. I add up the parts. It adds up to 4.5. Salt 80, and what you find out is 3 ounces is 85 grams. So I need 4.5 times X divided equals 85. Solve for X, you get 18.9, and then apply that 18.9 across the across your recipe, and that'll get you perfect every time to within like 100th of a gram. So really precise. Get you a good scale. Or like, that's just the way I do it, or just, like I even said before, usually like a measuring cup or something. Just keep it consistent across. So again, 1 part burley, 1 part Cavendish, 2 part light Virginia, half part perique. Mix it up good. Let it sit for about 3 or 4 weeks. You got Deer Stand. It's a really good one. So anyway, y'all keep on piping, y'all keep on picking, and we'll see y'all later.